Welcome to vpod.ai. This deep dive is sponsored by Stonefly, a leader in enterprise storage, backup, and disaster recovery, AI storage, and cloud solutions. If you're looking for secure, ransomware-proof storage, well, Stonefly sells air-gapped and immutable storage. You can contact sales at stonefly.com to schedule a demo.
Okay, so for decades, really, science fiction has promised us this vision, right? A computer you can actually talk to, not just, type at, but converse with. And now it looks like one of the biggest names in operating systems is making a serious run at it, not with some new gadget, but by fundamentally rewriting how we interact with our PCs using AI.
It's a huge gamble, really. We're diving into this major push to transform, ordinary Windows PCs into what they're calling AI PCs. And this isn't just about sticking a chatbot in the corner of the screen. No, it's much deeper. It's about your PC responding to your voice, seeing what you see on screen, and even eventually taking actions for you autonomously.
Yeah, it feels like the biggest change in, how we're expected to use a computer in maybe decades. So our mission today is to unpack this. We'll look at the three key pillars they're building this on: voice, vision, and actions. And importantly, we need to talk about the skepticism, the hurdles they face, getting us to actually trust this new way of computing.
Okay, let's get into it. This repositioning is significant.
Right. The vision they're painting is massive. They're talking about a full system overhaul. I think the executive VP of consumer marketing said something like, we're on the cusp of the next evolution, where AI isn't just a feature, but it's naturally integrated into the hundreds of millions of experiences we use daily.
Yeah.
But okay, beyond the marketing speak, what's the real strategic driver for this huge rewrite now?
That's a great question because, it's as much about defense as it is about innovation, I think. The stated goal to rewrite the entire operating system around AI and build truly the AI PC isn't just about making things easier for users. It feels like they're trying to make sure the PC stays relevant, stays central, especially with AI booming on phones and in the cloud. They're basically building a new foundation around conversation and agency so the desktop doesn't get left behind.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about architectural relevance in the age of AI.
Yeah.
And the first big change, the one people notice immediately, is this huge emphasis on voice. The core idea they're pushing seems to be you should be able to talk to your PC, have it understand you, and then magic happens.
Exactly. And that's where the shift really starts. They see voice becoming the third input mechanism. Now, they're clear it won't replace the keyboard and mouse, not yet anyway, but it's meant to be this added, profound, more intuitive way to interact. And we're seeing this roll out now with the Hey Copilot wake word on Windows 11 machines.
Okay, but I have to jump in here with some skepticism. I mean, hang on, we've been down this road before, haven't we? I remember Cortana on Windows 10. And frankly, accessibility features using voice have been in Windows for ages, but they never really took off broadly. And is talking through my mic on a Teams call really the same skill, the same interaction model as talking to my operating system? We're kind of trained to see the PC as this silent tool we command with clicks and keys.
That's a perfectly valid point. And yeah, the skepticism is earned given past attempts. Cortana, for instance, was pretty rigid. It relied on specific commands, very structured. If you didn't phrase it just right, PFT, it broke. The difference now, and this is what they're really betting the farm on, is the AI behind it. Modern natural language understanding, NLU, powered by these huge large language models. This allows for much more fluid conversational interaction. The system can grasp intent, not just keywords. You don't have to talk like a robot to the robot anymore.
Okay. So it's not the microphone that's changed. It's the brain listening on the other side.
Precisely. And they're justifying this push with their own data. They point to the billions of minutes people are already talking in Microsoft Teams meetings. So they argue they have this massive data set of natural conversation already flowing through their systems. They think this time the shift from talking through the PC to actually talking with and to the PC, that it can finally stick.
And you can see the potential benefits, right? A doctor dictating notes during an exam, just speaking naturally. Or you just searching files just by asking, or huge accessibility improvements for people who can't easily use a keyboard or a mouse. Voice unlocks a lot.
Voice is definitely the starting point, the gateway. But for that magic you mentioned, for the AI to really do things for you, it needs to understand more than just your words. It needs context, which means before it can act, it really needs to see what you're seeing.
Right, okay. So voice lays the foundation. But the real power, the agency, comes when the AI understands the visual context it needs to see your screen. Which brings us to the next layer, Copilot vision. This feels like a step up in terms of, trust.
It absolutely is. Copilot Vision is sort of the prerequisite for any real control. It's designed to essentially scan what's on your display. That lets the AI understand if you're working in Excel or browsing the web or editing a photo. Context is everything. But, and this is really crucial given, recent history, they are stressing hard that this is opt-in, explicitly opt-in.
That distinction feels critical, doesn't it?
Oh,
Especially after the whole recall thing last year.
yeah.
If we contrast this, recall felt like this background recording, always on, automatically logging everything. Is Copilot Vision more like actively choosing to share your screen with an assistant? Like you start it and you can stop it.
That's exactly the analogy they're using. The chief marketing officer described it pretty much like that, like initiating a screen share in Teams. You, the user, decide when the AI gets this visual sense, and you decide when to turn it off. Control rests with the user, theoretically at least.
Okay. And once it can see, then the potential use cases really expand, don't they? It could walk you through complicated software, maybe troubleshoot weird PC issues, teach you how to do something new. I even saw suggestions about it guiding you in a game. It's like having a super smart tutor inside your computer.
Mm-hmm. And that naturally leads to the ultimate goal, the peak of this trust mountain. Copilot actions. This is the big leap. From the AI passively seeing your screen to it actively doing things, taking potentially complex multi-step actions right there on your local machine.
Wow, okay. That changes the game entirely. So you could ask it to say, go through my vacation photos folder, find the good shots of the family, crop them square, and upload them to OneDrive. That sounds amazing, but also, frankly, a little bit terrifying. How far along is this capability?
Very early stages. As you'd expect, it's extremely contained right now. They're testing Copilot actions in a preview program called Copilot Labs, and it's limited, really limited to a narrow set of tasks while they fine-tune the AI model for reliability and safety.
Right. How are they handling the risk? I mean, letting an AI loose on potentially complex, maybe even old software on someone's personal PC, that seems fraught with peril.
Yeah, they're aware of that. To manage the risk, Copilot actions actually launch in a separate, isolated Windows desktop environment. Think of it like a secure sandbox. It runs the task locally, but it's walled off from your main OS, your system files, the registry, all that critical stuff. So the idea is if the AI messes up, if it gets confused or does something wrong, it can't, accidentally brick your machine or delete your thesis.
Okay, so you can watch it work in this safe side environment. But how does it actually do things?
Right.
Is it using official APIs for apps, or is it more like trying to mimic queuing clicks and inputs on the screen? Like if I ask it to edit photos, is it using the photo app's built-in functions, or is the AI somehow figuring out where to click?
It seems to be a mix. Primarily, it's using deep learning to understand and interact with the user interface like a person would, clicking buttons, typing in boxes, but supplemented with specific APIs where available. But, and this is important, they're being quite open that it's not perfect. The VP of Windows Experiences admitted that, especially initially, the AI agent might, make some mistakes, particularly with really complex apps, enterprise software with tons of menus, that sort of thing.
That phrase, make some mistakes, that really gives you pause, doesn't it? It fundamentally shifts your role. You're no longer the one driving, clicking every button yourself. You become a supervisor, watching an assistant who might occasionally screw up.
Exactly. And that leads us straight into the biggest challenge they face, arguably bigger than any technical hurdle. It's the trust issue. No matter how slick the tech is, convincing millions of people to grant an AI this level of access, seeing everything, potentially doing anything on their personal computer, that's a monumental barrier.
And you absolutely cannot discuss trust here without bringing up the recent past. That recall fiasco from last year hangs over this entire initiative, surely. That whole episode, the automatic background logging, it's bound to make people extremely wary of giving Copilot Vision and actions the keys to the kingdom, even if it is opt-in this time.
It makes the communication challenge incredibly difficult for them. They have to clearly articulate how this is different. They need to convince users that consciously sharing your screen for help, Vision, is fundamentally not the same as that passive, always-on recording that caused such an uproar with recall. Making that distinction believable is job number one.
And yet, despite that trust deficit, they're pushing ahead, full steam. Big advertising campaigns planned, apparently. Television ads even, with taglines like, meet the computer you can talk to.
Mm-hmm. And the timing isn't accidental. That big promotional push lines up neatly with the end of support deadline for Windows 10. Millions of people will be needing or wanting to upgrade their PCs soon anyway. So they're using this moment, this hardware refresh cycle, to push Windows 11 and these new AI features. The message is basically, upgrade now, and get a PC that's not just a tool, but a true partner. It's a sales driver as much as a feature launch.
So let's try and synthesize this. We're looking at potentially a revolutionary shift for the personal computer, moving it from this passive box that just waits for our typed commands to an active conversational partner that can see what we're doing and actually execute complex tasks for us.
Yeah.
It's like that sci-fi dream finally arriving, but the price of admission is a significant amount of trust and maybe accepting an assistant that isn't always perfect.
Absolutely. If they pull this off, if users adopt this, your daily interaction with your computer could fundamentally change. You might move from meticulously typing out every step to just giving verbal directions, more abstract goals, and then watching the AI figure it out and do the work.
It really is a fascinating moment. We'll have to see how it plays out. And just a final reminder that this deep dive into the future of computing was brought to you by Stonefly, a leader in enterprise storage, backup, and disaster recovery, AI storage, and cloud solutions. For secure, ransomware-proof storage options like air-gapped and immutable storage, reach out to sales at stonefly.com to schedule your demo.
So here's something to think about as we wrap up. If Copilot Actions is launching in this limited sandboxed way, specifically because the AI might make some mistakes, what does that mean for us, the users? What new mindset do we need to adopt when we shift from being the person doing everything on the PC, taking responsibility for every click, to being, well, just the supervisor, the person whose main job is simply to notice when the AI assistant gets something wrong? How does that change our relationship with the machine?